Welcome back, book lovers, to another episode of Dragons and Spaceships, your cozy corner for all things book talk approved, from emotionally wrecking romances to jaw-dropping thrillers. I'm your host, Brandi, and today we're diving into a novel that blurs the lines between reality and the surreal.
Dream Count by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie.
This book has been making waves for its poetic prose and thought-provoking themes, and I can't wait to explore it with you. But before we get swept into dreamscapes and layered realities, let's take a quick look at what is trending on Book Talk this week. Because trust me, Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez is one you are going to want on your radar. Released on April 1st, 2025, Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez has quickly climbed the charts, becoming a #1 New York Times bestseller. Known for her emotionally resonant storytelling, Jimenez delivers a poignant tale of love, family, and the complexities of life's unexpected turns. If you are seeking a contemporary romance that delves deep into the emotional intricacies of love and sacrifice, Say You'll Remember Me is a must-read. Tune in next week for us to cover it here on the podcast. All right, now let's dive into a book that doesn't just bend genre, it stretches the boundary between waking and dreaming, prose and poetry, the concrete and the abstract.
Dream Count by Adichie isn't your typical speculative fiction novel.
It doesn't follow a straight narrative line or feed you plot beats on a silver platter. Instead, it unfolds more like a series of meditative vignettes or puzzle pieces, each offering insight into something deeper: time, memory, loss, and the way dreams can act as both escape and instruction. This novel doesn't give you one central protagonist to follow, nor does it plant you in a familiar world with rules and maps. Instead, it invites you to drift through a landscape shaped by dreams, sometimes literal, sometimes symbolic. Characters appear like echoes: a librarian who catalogs dreams instead of books, a traveler who walks between realities with no guarantee of return, a poet who speaks in riddles that turn out to be the only truths worth clinging to. There isn't a clear plot so much as layered accumulation of moments, like fragments from shared consciousness. You're not so much reading about dreams, you're living inside of them. What emerges is a picture of a world both familiar and unfamiliar, a parallel reflection of ours where meaning isn't handed to you, but coaxed out of your own experience with the text.
Adichie's characters don't exist to be relatable in the traditional sense.
They serve as an emotional and philosophical entry points. Think of them like guides through a maze, not people you follow so much as people you meet who ask you better questions than they answer. Even when they appear for only a few pages, they feel whole, like characters from a dream you can't stop thinking about long after you've woken up. The archivist forces us to ask, what's worth remembering? The dreamer makes us question, what's real and who decides? The storyteller reminds us, language is the closest thing we have to magic. Each one reappears like motifs in a poem, not always with resolution, but with a deepening effect.
Adichie's background in the medieval literature comes through in the rhythm of her sentences, measured, rich, and deeply intentional.
This is a book meant to be read slowly. There's no rush, no cliffhangers. Instead, you get the pleasure of discovery and interpretation. The structure is loose and nonlinear. You'll encounter brief chapters almost like prose poems, intercut with longer passages that feel like parables or philosophical musings. If you read books like Einstein's Dreams by Alan Lightman or Autumn by Ali Smith, Dream Count lands somewhere in that realm. Literary, metaphysical, and genre curious. The world of Dream Count is a dream-like by design. Think soft edges, surreal logic, and rules that feel like they exist just beyond your understanding. One moment you're in a war-torn field, the next you're in a library with no doors. But the emotions underneath, very real. This book isn't interested in world building in the traditional sense. It's more concerned with building a mood. Expect silence, expect questions, expect imaginary that stays with you long after you turn the page. So let's talk about why it resonates with readers. Readers are drawn to Dream Court for different reasons. Some love the intellectual challenge. It's a book that doesn't spell anything out but rewards deep reading and rereading. Others are moved by its emotional depth, the way it captures grief, loneliness, and the need to believe in something beyond the surface. And many just love the language. Sentences you want to underline, quotes with what you'll want to sit with, ideas that feel both ancient and brand new. It may not be for everyone, but for the right reader, it's the kind of book that feels like it found you at the right moment. While it hasn't exploded across mainstream charts yet, Dream Count is sitting comfortably with high ratings from indie reviewers and literary book clubs. Early readers are calling it hypnotic, ethereal, and quietly revolutionary. If you are someone who likes to annotate, who loves books that make you feel like you're dreaming with your eyes open, Dream Count might just be your next favorite. Let's take a look at some book news that is book to screen spotlight. We're going to talk about Sunrise on the Reaping today. The highly anticipated prequel to The Hunger Games, Sunrise on the Reaping, is set to hit theaters on November 20th, 2026. Directed by Francis Lawrence, who helmed several installments of the original series, the film delves into the 50th Hunger Games, known as the Second Quarter Quell. This installment focuses on a 16-year-old Hamish Abernathy, portrayed by Joseph Zeta, and his experiences in the arena. The narrative also explores his tragic romance with Lenore Dove Baird, played by Whitney Peake. The casting choices have generated significant buzz among fans. Ralph Fiennes takes on the role of the younger President Snow, a character previously portrayed by Donald Sutherland in the other original films. Ellie Fanning is cast as Effie Trinket, reimagined as an early career stylist. There are other notable cast members that include a variety of people, and I highly suggest you go look it up so we can all get excited for this movie together. A teaser released at CinemaCon features a volcanic eruption transforming into a snake, accompanied by a voiceover stating, "I think these games are going to be different," hinting at the film's darker tone and challenges that Hamish faces. With a stellar cast and a return to Panem's origins, Sunrise on the Reaping promises to be a compelling addition to the Hunger Games saga, and I cannot wait for next year. Now, let's move into our listener Q&A and see what this week's question is. This week, the question was asked, where do you find out which books are trending each week? Great question. I rely on a combination of sources to stay updated on trending books. Goodreads is my primary go-to. They have a trending books shelf that showcases popular titles based on user activity, including ratings, reviews, and additions to reading lists. Additionally, the most read this week and most read this year sections provide insights into current and past popular books. Beyond Goodreads, I also check out the Amazon bestsellers list, which is updated hourly and reflects real-time sales data. Barnes & Noble and Penguin Random House also offer curated lists of trending books, often highlighting new releases and upcoming titles. And lastly, Book Talk on TikTok has become a significant influencer in the book community. Trending books often gain popularity through viral videos and discussions. By combining these resources, I keep my reading list fresh and aligned with current trends. Well, that's it for today's episodes of Dragons and Spaceships. Dream Count is a novel that invites you to lose yourself in the intricate layers and emerge with a renewed perspective on the power of dreams and storytelling. If you read the book, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you haven't, consider adding it to your TBR pile. Don't forget to submit your questions for our next Q&A segment. Until next time, happy reading, stay curious, and may your TBR pile never stop growing.